What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and imagine my surprise and complete utter shock when I saw this. Breaking: George Lucas will be a writer and executive producer on the Cassian Andor Disney Plus series. I have to say I was pretty taken aback. Then I clicked on this link that was shared from Star Wars Stuff, a pretty big Twitter account, and I get the Illuminati. I've had some issues with some of the things Illuminati has reported in the past, and in conjunction with Illuminati, we also have a We Got This Covered article. Now, first and foremost, I think that this is crazy if this actually happened. I have a lot of questions as to why George Lucas would come back for a Cassian Andor series. I have a lot of questions. Like, why would he want to write for Cassian Andor when there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's literally being rewritten right now because there's problems with the scripts, and the person who knows Obi-Wan Kenobi better than anybody else could go and write it and fix that series? Why would he want to go and talk about Cassian Andor? But anyway, let's get into this article, the very little that is said in it, and we'll talk about the possibility of it and whether there's any chance that this is true. A lot of people are now talking about this. George Lucas returning to Star Wars as executive producer on Cassian Andor series. Exclusive. While the Illuminati already hinted at the most explosive news about the upcoming Cassian Andor series for Disney Plus, we can now openly confirm that George Lucas is returning to the Star Wars universe as a writer and executive producer. But what does this mean for the future of the franchise? And then, like a lot of Illuminati articles, it's basically just telling you about Star Wars, telling you about Cassian Andor, telling you about the sequel trilogy, all of this stuff right here. Also working on the series will be Tony Gilroy, who wrote the screenplay for Rogue One and helped introduce Cassian and K2SO to the franchise. He was crucial to the rewrite process. This part of the news was first reported by Geek Tyrant, who also noted Lucas' writing credit. And we will get to this George Lucas writing credit because that means nothing. Just so everyone knows, because George Lucas has a writing credit on the Cassian Andor series doesn't mean that he's going to be involved. And I will show you all of that in this video. But let's finish this for now. Yeah, of course it would be a huge deal if George Lucas returned to Star Wars. But really, they're just speculating here. They're not really saying anything else. Let's go to We Got This Covered, who picked it up immediately as well. We Got This Covered, who, to be honest, sometimes they get things right. Sometimes they are just making stuff up. So, look at all the ads. God. After the mixed reception to Star Wars sequel trilogy, fans have often wondered over the past few years what franchise creator George Lucas would have done differently. In sharp contrast from the days when everyone complained about the prequels, there's been increasing talk about folks wanting to see Lucas be invited back to have another crack at the Star Wars universe in the Disney era. And apparently Lucasfilm has listened. The massive news comes our way via Illuminati, who say that George Lucas is returning. And they say George Lucas is confirmed to return. No mention of any sources say this, no mention of that. They just say George Lucas confirmed. That's all they say. The outlet reveals that Lucas will not only be serving as an executive producer, but will also be a writer on the show. As they noted in their piece, this information was backed up by this separate Geek Tyrant report that said Lucas was returning, or that Lucas was a writer. We already know that writer Tony Gilroy has been brought on board, just like we talked about. Diego Luna, meanwhile, is set to star as the rebel spy in this series, which will be set prior to his tragic death on Scarif. Okay. It's currently unknown how Lucas came to be involved with the project, but we can presume that Lucasfilm gave him his pick of properties, and he went for the Cassian Andor spin-off. In a way, that's unsurprising, as a show delving into the grittier parts of the galaxy recalls Star Wars Underworld, which we just saw footage for the other day. Lucas's ambitious live-action TV series that ultimately went unmade as Disney purchased the franchise. What's more, if Lucas is on board here, then it's feasible he could return again for a future Disney Plus production or even a movie. This seems crazy to me. Could it be true? Yeah, it could definitely be. It's being reported now. It's being talked about. Why would George Lucas come back on Cassian freaking Andor when he could be involved in the Obi-Wan series? He could be involved in Mandalorian. He could do something else. If he sat down and said, hey, I want to do something else, I'm sure they would listen to him and help develop something. Why Cassian Andor, a character that no one's excited about, that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things? Doesn't make any sense. Now, let's get back to this Geek Tyrant report that everyone was saying. This is the report. New details revealed concerning new Disney Plus Rogue One prequel series based on Cassian Andor. And all the way down at the bottom right here is where they talk about this George Lucas thing. The only other thing we know for sure is about the series is that Alan Tudyk will be back to reprise his role of droid K2SO, with Stephen Schiff, Tony Gilroy, and George Lucas getting writing credits. And that's what they're taking to help confirm this news. I have news for you guys. George Lucas is getting writing credits in every single thing that is produced that says Star Wars on it by Disney. Everything. Let's go to Mandalorian. Series writing credits, George Lucas, 8 episodes. Let's go to Star Wars Rebels, something we know he was not involved in at all. Series writing credits. Oh, George Lucas, 70 episodes. All right, what about something that we know he was in no way involved in, no way, shape, or form? Last Jedi. Last Jedi, George Lucas, writing credits. And this one is really what all of them should be like, based on characters created by, because that is why he's getting writing credits in everything. Because George Lucas created Star Wars, he created this universe, he created so many of the characters that all these stories are based around. So George Lucas gets a writing credit in every single thing that says Star Wars that Disney produces. So the news that he's listed as a writer on the Cassian Andor show means absolutely nothing. And if anyone's using that as a way to try to back up this report, you don't know what you're talking about. That's all I'll say. Because like I said, he's there on everything, guys, because he created it. So that's just what they've done for every single thing. You think that George Lucas was involved in Rebels? Do you think he was involved in 70 episodes of Rebels? You're out of your freaking mind if you think that's the case. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. This announcement of George Lucas will be a writer and executive producer on Cassian Andor. I don't believe it right off the bat. Because it just seems too crazy and too much would make sense for him to return to Obi-Wan vice the Cassian Andor series. What does Cassian Andor mean to George Lucas? I don't know. I do know that he liked Rogue One a lot more than he liked a lot of the other sequel trilogy things. And as I was recording this, what do you know? Look what I find. From Clayton Sandell, an actual somewhat reliable source. Fact check. No, George Lucas is not returning to write, produce, direct the Cassian Andor series for Disney+. Yes, I'm embarrassed to say I checked into it and bothered actual sources. This has been Friday's edition of Debunking Ridiculous Star Wars Clickbait Rumors, as you were. So there you have it. It's suspected that this is just what we all thought it was. What I've been saying this entire time, that it is clickbait, that it is not real. So that's basically where we stand now. It looks like a lot of people are actually checking into this, and it's garbage. And that just goes to show you that this freaking website, Illuminati, is, I think it's actually worse than we got this covered. We got this covered, just picks stuff up that they do and kind of runs with it and reports along with it. Illuminati just makes shit up, as far as I'm concerned. Same thing that I talked about earlier with that, with the Asherad Het rumor for the Obi-Wan series. They just make stuff up. So I would really, anything that comes from here, I would be super highly skeptical of. We got this covered, basically just reported on what they did, which isn't better or anything like that. But Illuminati's trash, as far as I'm concerned. But there you have it. So I guess we don't have to worry about really explaining why I didn't think that this was going to be a possibility. Because it's already been debunked. And George Lucas would not want to come back for a Cassian Andor series. Doesn't make any sense. There's the Obi-Wan series out there. If he wanted to, if they really decided to bring him back and give him creative control, he could just make anything he wanted. He wouldn't be stuck with Cassian freaking Andor. But that's about it. I was going to end this by, asking you guys what you thought. Do you think this is real? I guess technically you still got two different sources saying the same thing. I, for one, am wholly convinced, just like I was for most of this video, that this is absolute garbage and not real. But let's hear what you guys have to say. Is there any chance that he does come back, or are you pretty sure that this is debunked just like everyone really thought? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.